Eye contact broken, the cat hissed, showing yellow fangs, and darted towards the window. Beside the pantry, a second door led through to several outhouses, the nearest of which doubled as a utility room. Beyond was a courtyard. In one corner, below tiles that obviously leaked, was a carriage. It had probably been a prized possession once. Today it was a ghost, rendered pale by decades of bird shit from pigeons in the rafters above. An arch through the rear of the courtyard led to a walled garden with a lychgate gate onto the dales, at least according to the letting agent's details. She'd seen pictures of Wildfell before she arrived, of course. The courtyard garden, a couple of ostentatious family rooms. It looked big, which didn't matter, and remote, which did. She wanted somewhere she was unlikely to be bothered by neighbours. But now she was here and in, and could see the house in all its ruined glory. It was vast, far larger than she knew what to do with, more run down than she'd been told, and far closer to civilization than the letting agent had let on, situated on the cusp of the moors and the dales. Estate agents lied, it seemed, and so did photographs. The red brick Elizabethan frontage was built onto something even more ancient. According to the details, it had been a prep school in the post-war period, a boarding school for boys up to 13, which shut for undisclosed reasons. In the 80s it tried, and failed, to become a conference centre. In the early 90s it shut again, though the agent didn't say so. She supposed it had been shut on and off ever since. Family dispute was all he said, when she asked why the house didn't just get sold to developers. Certainly, he had seemed peculiarly keen to let it to a single woman in search of somewhere quiet to work. Dusk was falling as she locked the door to the outhouse, feeling its flimsy lock rattle in a way that cranked her anxiety up another notch. Then she retraced her steps to the entrance hall. Like everything else in the house, it was huge and faded, several doors leading off. A vast dining room with a mahogany table that would seat 20 at a squeeze. A study with walls lined with antelope heads. A billiard room with a table torn to reveal a heavy slab of slate beneath rotting baize. A red ball sat alone at the side. Helen slung it into the pocket as she passed, and it fell through the threadbare net, landing with a crash that made her jump, before rolling away across the marbled floor. The air of abandonment was even more apparent in the drawing room, where a chandelier, 2 sofas, and 5 chairs were all shrouded under sheets. A huge, gloomy portrait of an imperious man in breeches and knee boots glared down from above the fireplace. The hairs on her arms rose, as if the temperature had dropped a degree or 2 when she walked in. Not damp like the pantry, more chill. Wrapping her arms around herself, Helen rubbed at them in a futile attempt to warm up. Then she checked the windows. They were all shut. She pulled the curtains anyway, drab and heavy with dust. Anything to obscure the gloom outside. The house seemed endless. Big rooms giving on to smaller rooms, giving on to staircases, which in their turn gave on to a hidden underworld of servants' pantries and store cupboards that Helen decided to ignore, bolting the door firmly top and bottom when she returned to ground level. Upstairs were bedrooms, her own, chosen late the previous night by default, no better or worse than any of the others. It was huge, its ceiling so bowed she feared it might fall in at any moment. As she paced its floor, her boots squeaked on utilitarian grey-blue carpet, at odds with the rest of the bedroom furniture, an assortment of hideous hand-me-downs from elderly relatives who wouldn't take no for an answer. With the light fading, Helen flicked the switch and a bulb flickered to half-life, barely concealed by a too small panelled lampshade. In the darkening window, her reflection